I know for the past two videos, I've been talking about Sega a lot lately, whether it be in the introduction of the Sega Game Gear review, or how Sega advertised the Game Gear handheld itself. And whenever you talk about Sega, Sonic the Hedgehog always spin dashes his way into the conversation, and who can blame them? Especially now, given that we have a better look at the upcoming open world style Sonic game called Sonic Frontiers, and that's why I'm making this video. Sue me. You're probably expecting me to begin this video with something positive like Sonic was amazing at one point, and then go on a tangent about how it changed my life and how it's so sad that the franchise went downhill from when I remember it fondly. Which would segue into the Sonic Frontiers trailer analysis portion of the video, where I talk about how excited I was that they're finally trying something new, until a 7-minute IGN gameplay video revealed it's pretty much the same thing, except now with an open world, pace-breaking puzzles, questionable combat, and rails that don't require momentum. No, I'm not feeling it, because that's not really how I feel about the Sonic series at all. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I'm not gonna be like, Sonic had a rough transition to 3D. Fuck that noise. The truth is, when it came to the Sonic series, I seem to love certain entries in the series than I did the entire franchise. I did pretty much play all the main series entries and a few of the spin-offs, and I don't really have any allegiance to any specific era, whether it be classic, Dreamcast, Dark Age, or modern era. And there was a time where I thought the Sonic series was consistently churning out decent to good content. But then I slowly grew more apathetic and resentful as each hiatus between new releases got the fanbase scrounging for leaks and information like wolves during a famine. Because while Sonic Mania's 2017 release was easily the best time to be a Sonic fan, with even 3D enthusiasts loving it to the point where they joked the special stages had more 3D than even the modern Sonic games from Colors and Beyond, since great portions of those games were in 2D. Well then, Sonic Forces happened, and the fanbase was fractured once again. While it was universally agreed that it wasn't 06 levels of bad, and some even liked Sonic Forces, but many fans were very disappointed, citing mediocre level design, storytelling equivalent to bad fanfiction, complete with a dark and brooding OC, as well as the OC the player creates, but at least that was implemented well. At least in terms of being able to customize your character and be a part of this story. And the final nail on that coffin being the mindless gameplay that barely had challenge up until the final stages. That was what ignited my pure apathy for the series from that point on, and eventually I was just so fed up with all the mutual strawmanning on Twitter showing up that I was just done. I didn't really care anymore. I didn't even care what came next, because I was tired of Sonic, these fanboys. I'm tired of being caught in the tangle of their lives.
Did you just unironically quote Dr. Manhattan from the Watchmen comic series?
Yes, I did.
You do know that's pretty cringe, right?
And I don't care. But that was pretty much how I felt for Sega's output, Forces and Beyond. It's weird because I never expected to enter that phase as being a casual Sonic fan, the one that just gave up on the series indefinitely. I thought that was something for more hardcore fans that lived and breathed Sonic, but here I am. Just like when Saturn owners never got that Sonic game they were promised. Just like the 3D Sonic fans that after being burned out from Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, and Secret Rings, all having a decreasing quality standard. But I feel as though I relate more to the former than the latter, because the former was dealing with a Sonic content drought, since all the Saturn had to show for in terms of Sonic content was Sonic 3D Blast, which was also on the Genesis, but now with a new soundtrack, and a compilation of the 4 classic Sonic games that they already played a million times. But this time it's different because unlike back in the 90s where the Sonic fan game community was basically non-existent, now we have all these amazing fan games made by passionate Sonic fans who have a better idea of how Sonic should play than even Sega, who have been insisting that Sonic would play this way for the past 5 entries. There is a fan by the name of Noah Copeland who in 2018 announced he was making a full-fledged 16-bit remake of a Sega Game Gear favorite of mine, being Sonic the Hedgehog Triple Trouble, aka the closest the 8-bit games got to being on par with the classic series. Hell, I like it more than Sonic 1 and 2, so that should tell you something. And the overhauled level design looked amazing from what I played of the demo, and expect the rest of the zones to be creatively reinvented in a similar way. And back then, that was about the only spark of hope for the series left in me, because it wasn't just a remake of an old favorite, it was a remake of how I viewed the series. Let me explain. So here we are several years later. During Sonic's 30th anniversary, we got a teaser of Sonic running into the woods, as well as the announcement of the Sonic Origins remaster and the Sonic Colors remaster. It wasn't as good as their 25th anniversary celebration in terms of announcements, but the portion of the Sonic Origins remaster showcasing the widescreen versions of the 2D classic Sonic games we all knew and loved on iOS was big news. And seeing Sonic Colors Ultimate being announced in addition to a brand new 3D Sonic game finally convinced me that Sega legitimately wanted the alienated fan base to come back into the series, and me being one of those alienated fans, I came back, but not without a few criticisms of the presentation that I hoped would get alleviated. In 2022, after the utter disappointment that was Sonic Colors Ultimate port in September of 2021, which failed to successfully remaster the original experience, we finally have a trailer that shows off more of this Sonic Frontiers, and as many fans speculated based on superficial aspects shown in the teaser, they're definitely going the open world route, among other things that have fans talking. And I'll be perfectly honest, I do have my fair share of concerns looking at that footage because it is a little rough around the edges, but at the same time I'm kind of cautiously optimistic with this new direction. The platforming for one looks very promising, with Sonic running around these open fields, not restricted to where he will go, as well as running up these ancient ruins on specifically color-coded panels. The expansive open world design for this new Sonic title shows a lot of promise, and a genuine step to making Sonic modern once again. Of course, it could be really easy to fuck this up, but if Sonic Forces is anything to go by, the formula established in the 3D Sonic games from Colors 2 Forces have become stagnant with a predictable formula, and with the exception of Lost Worlds, barely had anything new to dramatically change how we play Sonic. So a shake-up of the status quo wasn't just a good idea, it was a kind of shake-up we needed for Sonic to stay relevant. Of course, the trailers released have gotten in constant comparison to Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I definitely see that. There's a lot of grasslands, foliage, and ancient ruins, with the combat trailer even showcasing ancient-looking robotic enemies throughout these wildlands.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. Intel has told us there are at least 7.
Okay, I already see one. Give me. Okay.
They're the same picture.
But when IGN was doing their 7-minute gameplay run-through, I also got Bowser's Fury vibes when it came to solving these basic pace-breaking puzzles to progress in the game, and also Sonic exploring said world to collect these red gem-like items, as well as coins. Not rings, coins. But there is plenty of rings, as well as the familiar springs and boosters and the contentious, momentumless rail grinding rails. There's definitely a lot to take in, and I'm not surprised that the fans immediately noticed the texture pop-in and the glitching of rings here and there, giving this the feel of an unfinished game, which mind you is very concerning only because it's so close to the release date. I know a lot can happen in 6 months, but still. And the combat is something I'm very ambivalent on. Like, the bubble enemies are hit sponges, and while it seems like combos are involved, will these enemies be a welcome addition to diversify the gameplay loop, or more of a pace-breaking stop-and-go problem? Because most Sonic fans of both 2D and 3D preferences prefer a more minimalistic approach to combat unless they're fans of Heroes and Unleashed, which more power to them. But for me personally, a lot of these smaller enemies look like they take too much damage to go down, especially these annoying shell enemies. I was however impressed by these colossal robots because speedy platforming is used to take them down, therefore maintaining the expected pace of the game. and the smaller anthropomorphic polygonal enemies take a few hits to not overstay their welcome, just like the badniks of the classic and adventure games. So after Sonic Forces didn't work out critically speaking, Sega definitely had to look for a brand new direction to freshen up the series, because it seems like the formula stagnated, and Sonic Frontiers might just be this brand new idea in terms of combat and traversing the open world. This might just be the very future of the Sonic franchise. It might be too early to tell, as a lot of things like Sonic's handling seem to be carried over, but the overhauling of the 3D level design to suit a more open-ended world design is a bold new direction to take that I actively encourage Sega pursue for further projects. And whether the game will be good or not would depend, but the future of Sonic as a legitimate video game franchise kind of hinges on whether they'll work out the kinks seen in the trailer in time for his holiday release in late 2022. I wouldn't be surprised if the mixed consensus right now might warrant delaying the game until spring of 2023, especially with many calling it fan game quality in a more pejorative sense. And not in the usual, Sega, hire this person, they know Sonic design better than you do, kind of sense. I am, however, a bit concerned of the cost of this open-ended style of gameplay. I am aware I don't know everything, because we've yet to see the rest of this game. But since the very beginning, the series has had a level-by-level design philosophy that rewarded players for finishing the stage under a certain amount of time, encouraging players to get better and better at the levels. So I do hope that there are some time-based challenges to keep Sonic going fast, where he goes through an enemy and obstacle gauntlet from point A to point B under a certain amount of time, incentivizing the very replayability that the series has always had, even if Frontiers is going for a more exploration focus. Like many people, I just hope Sonic Frontiers doesn't suck, because then Sega would panic and go back to basics, to the old modern style introduced in Unleashed's day stages, and we just don't need any more of that. We already have 5 games of that. We don't need any more. So, if you ever are going to do like a back to basics thing, just do a retro callback game, like a successor to Sonic Mania even. Although, given the state of Sonic Origins was in its release due to Sega mandating a deadline when they requested an extension to work out all the bugs and glitches, I don't think they'll be back for a Sonic Mania 2 or a successor to Sonic Mania. So, Sega, if you're watching this, you better hope Sonic Frontiers is in the most stable state possible and is the most fun game that Sonic fans have played in a while. Otherwise, you might just be doomed, and only validating the Sonic detractors who've been saying the franchise has been so inconsistent. Agent Abel, I'm going to need you to wait for the target to warp out of the neutral zone so we can follow him later on with the coordinates.
There you are, my old nemesis. I've waited a long time for this.
Agent Abel, do not do anything brash. This operation is delicate and we cannot have you play the hero.
Professor, I don't care. I'm going after him.
Agent Abel, return to base. Thank you so much, Richard. I owe you a lot for this. Now don't worry, I wired the money directly to your dark web bank account. It should be there. Hold it right there, SideQuest gamer, or wait, SideQuestian gentleman. Oh, this clone saga is still going on. Are you still doing this? Hand it over. Don't do anything rash. What, can't a guy buy some Warpgate fuel without the government checking to see if it's legal or not, or if it's properly registered? There's just so much paperwork. There really isn't a whole lot of point to it. Just drop it and roll it to the floor in my direction. Alright. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna kick it over to your direction. Alright. Oh, This stuff is potent and very illegal, like to the levels of space-time crimes. Like, what exactly are you doing with this? You're not exactly genius enough to be a mad scientist. I mean, I'm a clone of you, so I know full well you're definitely not a genius. But I guess you're commissioning scientists to work on this? Like, what exactly are you building? Look at the fine print on that bottle. You'll see it's completely registered and even has that stamp of approval from that administration that does all that. Look at the fine print. Alright. Let's see how much, you know? Thanks for reminding. Ha! Made you look.
Agent Abel has been terminated.
Psyquesticide, I'm going to need you to get his remains. They might come in handy later. We may have failed in this mission, but we might have just narrowed down to exactly where this one's hiding. Oh, jeez, that was a close one. Computer, update the newly installed warp blockers. We're going to need them.
Affirmative. Updating warp blockers to version 6.17.
You really shouldn't have done that, Psyquestian gentleman. Now I know exactly where you are. I'll be seeing you real soon.